What's up? Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads, and check out the links posted in the description down below to support the channel. Thank you. So here I have another post from Philly the Shilly on Twitter. This is a guy with 30,000 followers on Twitter, and he has generated a whopping 2,767 likes on this post. Seems like the large majority of people are not with you here on this one because they're not liking this post. And also he posted this on Instagram, just to put that out as an aside, with a whopping 40,000 followers on Instagram with only 433 likes on the same post. Very strange, isn't it? Very odd. This is a guy that played football for Dublin, has multiple All-Irelands, and not an awful lot of people absolutely give a rat's about what this guy is standing for now. And what he's standing for is on the wrong side of history. And people like this guy and others that have decided to remain silent for the last number of years and are now remaining silent with, young athletes collapsing and passing with regards to heart issues, suddenly becoming more common and being accepted here in this country without any questions, not asking any questions with relation to that now, but more interested in painting people with genuine concerns with some sort of radical left brush. This is exactly what these people do every single time, and we have Philly the Shilly here now coming out with a statement which is an own goal. And why is it an own goal? It's an own goal because what you will see, as you will see with the names that are involved here, is what I've been talking about for the last number of years, which is a uniparty in action here in Ireland. It doesn't matter what party they say that they're attributed to in the Dáil, and they like to pretend that they're against each other and that they're enemies. They simply are not. They are one giant party that are working collectively against you. You think that Sinn Féin are going to save you? Look at what Mary Lou McDonald has in her Twitter profile. The Palestinian flag. No tricolour there. And that is supposed to be the Republican Party of Ireland, by the way. That's the leader of that party. So, just so as you have that in mind, and you'll see then the other people which you know all about at this stage of the game, you have to really understand where we are at. But this is an own goal, insofar as it shows you that the people that are involved, particularly the different parties, that they're one party, and also the organisations that these people use to psychologically affect people and to bring them on side. Look, for example, we'll see Bohemians here. They have a football jersey out recently that had plastered on the front of it, instead of a sponsorship, refugees welcome. Outrageous stuff. And there's people that pay into those matches that are basically giving money towards that. The same with the GAA. GAA opened Croke Park 2 years on the bounce for a festival of sacrifice for the religion of peace. But Catholic sacraments, you're told to stay at home, you couldn't practice those. Gardaí were walking into churches, stopping masses. Remember that? So, an awful lot to be considered when these people are coming out and saying these things. Your rights, your civil liberties over the last couple of years, yeah, don't worry about them, forget about that. People doing illegal things to gain entry into the country, you should be standing for them people altogether. Weird, isn't it? Anyway, we'll go through the list that are involved in this statement here on the right hand side. And first up is Ballymun Regional Youth Resource. Before I go into any more of this, I just want to say this. You're going to get organisations, maybe some of them, some businesses, that will sign up to this stuff so they are not branded an ist or an istophobe. To me, that's cowardice. And what you need to see now is you need to see people standing up and saying, I'm not being afraid of being called names by a side of the argument that is promoting degeneracy and the degradation of Irish society. I am not worried about being called a name. I want to change the course of Ireland. That's what leadership looks like. That's what courage looks like. The Easy Street Team Star Project Ballymun, Ballymun Local Drugs and Alcohol Task Force, Satanta Club, Ballymun Kickums, BBE, Philly McMahon, Bedo 7 Fitness Club, Ashling Project, CDETB Adult Education Service, Ballymun Health and Fitness Festival, Global Action Plan, Ballymun, Bohemian Football Club, Dean Scurry, Ballymun Men's Shed, Ray Corcoran, Sparky Youth Leader, Ballymun Community Law Centre, Gloss Community Gardens Project, Trinity Comprehensive School, Skull on Shakhtar, Layak Rediscovery Centre, Ballymun Tidy Towns, Axis Neve Ní Concavore, Axis Patricia Martin, Axis Afrik Ní Rourke. These are people from the theatre, let you know everything you need to know. Young Ballymun, Ballymun Child and Family Resource Centre, Super Value Ballymun, Nora and Josie's Kitchen, Desi Ellis, TD, Sinn Féin. Now this is where it gets really interesting, guys. So that's Sinn Féin. Paul McAuliffe, TD, Fianna Fáil. Roisin Shortall, TD, Social Democrats. Councillor Mary Callaghan, Social Democrats. That's a party now that's in the midst of a massive scandal that none of the media want to talk about, by the way. Check out my other video on that. Councillor Anthony Conaghan, Sinn Féin. Councillor Keith Donnelly, Fianna Fáil. Councillor Caroline Conroy, Green Party, Lord Mayor of Dublin. Councillor Briege McOscar, Fianna Fáil. Just going back on the Green Party person there. Do you know anybody that votes for them? That's a question I keep asking people. Do you vote for the Green Party? You don't. Anybody in this room vote for them? No? Very strange, very weird. Councillor Nolene Riley, Independent. Annie Hoey, Labour Rep. John Nesbitt, Labour Rep. Weirdly enough, Ivana Bakic is not calling for any of these centres to be put up in Dalkey or anywhere in D4 or anything like that, like Ballsbridge or anything like that. Weird, isn't it? Always seems to be working class areas that they want to shove these people into. I wonder if you put these people, people that are claiming to be refugees and asylum seekers, I wonder if you sent them on to these people's places, I wonder how quickly that they would be welcomed in over there, John Nesbitt, Labour Rep. Conor Reddy, People Before Profit Rep. Noel Ruck, former TD of Fine Gael. So there you go, guys. That is basically all of the major political parties that are here in Ireland. And they're all working together here to tell you, the Irish people, that you're islamophobes because you have genuine concerns about people being moved into their area, and also then because your own family can't afford to buy houses. Interesting. Let's have a look at this here. January 2023 joint statement, abuse directed at refugees in Ballymun. Now what these people will always do, by the way, is if you have a legitimate concern, go and stand outside government buildings. Doesn't work. Hasn't worked, won't ever work. Not gonna happen. And when people decide to turn up to the government buildings, they are faced down with fences to keep them as far away as possible, and then you've got Gardaí then hanging around there to push people away. So people are right to be protesting here with regards to this, particularly where they are protesting, because it's bringing more attention to it. And that's what a protest is all about. We stand in solidarity. Now, I'm telling you this now. Anytime you see the word solidarity, that is communist speak. Every single time you see that word, and it's used predominantly by the left, they have commandeered that word. Every time you see that word, it lets you know that they are not looking out for your interests. With the vast majority of the people of Ballymun in opposing the abuse and hatred directed at refugees and asylum seekers. Hatred absolutely fine out for people that decided not to sign up to a medical experiment over the last 2 years, and indeed who didn't want to sign up to a medical experiment passport within their own country. Hatred towards them, absolutely no problem though, of course. In Ballymun over the last few days, men, women and children, be they residents or newcomers, should not fear for their safety in their homes or on our streets. The large majority of them, by the way, you can book a hotel in the country from which they originated. That would say to me that their country's probably alright, just a rule of thumb that I have there. We know that only a small minority of people from the area. See, what they're trying to do is they're trying to minimise the scale of it. They're not wanting to talk about the fact that this happened in East Wall, in Drimnagh, in Ballymun and other parts of the country. They want to say, oh, it's only a small minority. It's absolutely not. I guarantee you that one. Are taking part, and the abuse is orchestrated by far-right groups. So when they say far-right, just so as you know, these people are on the left, which means that they stand for depravity, degeneracy and communism. People on the right are people that are standing up for nationalistic values, the values that were looked upon for the 1916 leaders, and they are looking for a future for our own people with our culture, our history and tradition carrying on. These people stand in vehement opposing manners towards that, and they have done it many times beforehand. You've got Micheál Martin, for example, being quoted saying that he doesn't want to look at a backward way of looking of sovereignty. Very interesting, isn't it? I mean, that's just the leader of the country saying, yeah, I'm more interested in the EU than I am in sovereignty. Don't know about you. The people of Ballymun are generally upset with the protests, and they fear that the reputation of this welcoming and diverse community is being tarnished. Of course, diversity is something that these people are very much so interested in. And why are they interested in diversity? And particularly in these areas, they're interested in it because of the money that they can make and generate from it. Look at what Philly McMahon's involved in. Look at the clubs and organisations, by the way, that rubber stamp their names on this. Do you not think that they're going to get more work out of this when they have all sorts of heads coming in? Absolutely they are. There are many things we need to fix in our area and in our country, such as housing and homelessness, which I would argue that you should not let people into the country when we already have a problem like that, but wheeling more people in, that's a very bad idea. And over, 150,000 PPS numbers have been given to people now not of Irish origin. That's a big problem. That's a big yikes, is it not? And yet then figures of houses here in Dublin are at 6 at this moment in time. 6 figures for a house here in Dublin. It's absolutely outrageous. But these people are like, no, keep wheeling people in, and as a result then we'll give them free stuff. But the Irish people, you are istaphobes, bigots, for noticing all of this sort of stuff. Poverty, social equality, drug treatment services, they're mad for that. Employment, health services, our environment and community facilities. Environment, this is another thing, by the way. They're going to tell you that you need to pay more money towards the government so that they can fix the weather. Absolute Ralph Wiggum type stuff. We do not believe that these issues should be used by some groups to stoke up fear and hate. Like I said before, you were all right there to be talking about people that potentially had the sniffles. There was no problem to stoke up fear and hate with relation to them, was it not? You see, this is what's happened over the last couple of years. You decided to poke your finger into the faces and eyes of other people, and people like me go, all right, that's fine, I'll take her on. As organisations and as individuals, we are working, and we will continue to work collectively. So, to make our area better. Not really working out now, is it, if that's the case? Bringing out the best in people and fighting for positive change. We are determined to respond to the protests, in brackets. They absolutely are protests, 100%, and they should continue, in my opinion, my humble opinion, of course, respectfully and legally, including through meeting with the new residents to welcome and reassure them. These people all, by the way, don't want to meet with actual residents with actual concerns, just so you know. We are redoubling our efforts in our schools and businesses. Now that's a big red flag there. These people constantly want to talk to children, and you need to be very much so aware about that. You need to be very aware about what your child is being taught and by whom, and what they are deciding to espouse, and what type of rhetoric is being brought in. Politicians, by the way, are making regular visits to schools. Did you know that? You should, because these are things that you should have question marks around, considering the individuals that are making those visits. And in our youth, community and sports groups, and as public representatives to promote integration. So integration worked out really well in Sweden. That's why you have Swedish ministers saying, listen lads, we've already seen how this works out. It's not good, you shouldn't do it. Ireland's ignoring that. The UK have also tried the same. France has tried the same. Hasn't worked out there. Poland, on the other hand, seems to say no to all of this, and they seem to be carrying on no problem at all. So just to go back on Philly the Shilly, just to bring it all the way back to him, because he is someone that question marks are around now, given the fact that there was a local champion posted in December 2022, where the government were going to hire local champions so that they could redirect people into basically the stalls that they wanted them to go to, just so you wouldn't think. So my question is this: has Philly been hired as a local champion? Just to go on Philly bought his first house in Ashtown, and he lived at home. This is all on public record, by the way. These are things that he has said in interviews. He lived at home, and his girlfriend at the time lived at home also, to save and buy a house. Now, of course, that's what an awful lot of people have to do. And he then went on record to say, well, nowadays you probably wouldn't be able to afford that house now. Now, I know that Philly is no Socrates or anything like that here, but to me, would you not think to yourself there, Philly, and say, maybe the issue is that we keep bringing people into the place that's keeping the prices up? No, of course, it has to be the people that are genuinely concerned, that have seen a dramatic increase in the value of homes over the last number of years. Let's put it like this. When my father was growing up, and certainly my grandparents were growing up, one wage could be brought into a house and it could sustain 8, 10 people. No problem. Meanwhile now, what type of world do you live in now? Both parents have to work. What about that? That's only 2 generations ago. And I would even argue that 1 generation ago, you could go out and work with 1 wage and bring it home, and you could sustain a house of multiple people in the house. What about that? You know what I'm saying? Uncontrolled immigration is a reason why, and is one of the key reasons in my belief as to why house prices have remained as high as they have. I also want to ask, how many refugees live with you, Philly? Are you taking any in? I said, also, as well, I want to just say this. How many of the people that have rubber stamped their names to this and organisations, how many are you taken into your own homes? Now, I'm not talking about the likes of Bohemians or anything like that, saying, oh, they can sleep at the club grounds. Whoever rubber stamped that from Bohemians, how many refugees are you taking into your house? How many? The far right, as I said before, that they like to talk about here in this statement is something that most people now are feeling like, hey, this is what they're talking about here is moderate nationalism, is moderate border control and moderate immigration, and that's absolutely fine. And when I talk about border control and immigration, I'm talking about the fact that yes, we will always need and perhaps need people of certain skill sets into the country, but as I said before, you don't need people coming into the place with criminal records, and you certainly don't need any more of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 professions. Look at our nurses that are leaving the country because what's happening is they're not getting the wages that they want. They're leaving the country, and next of all, the government are bringing people in from the likes of India and the Philippines who I've met, and they're lovely people, but they're willing to work for less than our own Irish nurses. So that's undermining our Irish nurses. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very simple stuff. And like I said before, the left stand for everything that's opposing anything sort of decent, and I mean anyway decent. I just also want to key you into something else, and that's something that people have been talking about on the internet, which is sports ball. Now, it's going to come to a point in time because we can already see it with the GAA where they're including diversity and inclusion officers, fellas that are called Akmuk Balhamed from the Middle East, and I don't think it's going to be long before they set their ways into the place. But look at, for example, the Forum. The Forum are someone and a group that people have been talking about now for the last couple of years. Arsene Wenger was hanging around the Forum not too long ago. How long is it going to be before someone in the GAA is over there? You know what I'm saying? You need to be looking at these things. These things are very important. I also want to say this. In this whole statement, there was no energy from these people for your rights, your freedoms, your civil liberties short in the sniffles. And they've absolutely no energy now for the passing of people with heart attacks, with suddenlies, or anything to do with blood clots or anything like that. You don't want to know. Probably only Ain 2, as a matter of fact, I think they're the only one that are actually bringing her up and saying, look, there seems to be a big problem here. We seem to have a big excess here. You need to be asking questions with relation to that. You and I both know what it's about anyway. It's climate change, of course. So anyway, I just wanted to show you this statement and show you some of the individuals that were involved in this, because I think you're getting a clearer picture now as to what people here in this country now are up against. You're up against individuals like Philly the Shilly, you know, no different from Judas Iscariot, and you have to just look back at biblical stories that have now become basically like prophecies, because everything that they have taught us beforehand has now played out in front of our very eyes. It's not worked out. The Bible told us that already. And again, you see many people running around the place like Judas Iscariot that are happy to do what they do and are happy to betray their own people and are happy to betray the people of Ireland. And for what? For more issues in the area that they currently don't reside in. Now again, that speculatively allegedly could have bought somewhere else since then, but Ashtown isn't in Ballymun, as you know, and to me that says an awful lot, because the left will want to use that type of argument when it suits them for the likes of Philip Dwyer or Derek Bloig or Satirical Soldier, you know, guys that go around to different places to give support and say, oh, those fellas don't live there. Well, is there an argument now to be made for Philly McMahon if he doesn't live in Ballymun then? You know what I mean? You want to play that game? We'll play that game, because we don't mind. Your boos mean nothing at this stage. Your boos are absolutely wonderful. We are like Russell Crowe in Gladiator at this stage of the game. Boo all you want. We're still going to come out here with the victory, because you best believe this. The internet is getting more and more wise to what's going on, and you only have to look at articles that are being published by leftist outlets, and they are regularly getting rinsed in the comments. RTE won't turn their comments on here on YouTube. News Talk regularly do not like to engage in comments. Their likes on their videos are very low. Meanwhile, that Philly McMahon video that I've done the other day has passed 200 likes. I don't think News Talk have ever gotten 200 likes. I would highly doubt that RTE have gotten 200 likes. But this little Clown World Commentary channel has gotten that. It's incredible. And all I can do is thank you for the support that you are giving me and this channel and awakening people up. Hopefully, I hope that's what we do, and I hope that's what we continue to do, because it's something that needs to be done. And this whole idea of telling lies and listening to lies and allowing these people to peddle lies without any sort of challenge, it's over, it's done. Anyway, what I would like you to do is I would like you to like this video. I much so appreciate that. Share the video too, also. That would be absolutely fantastic, because that also helps, and it helps the cause. And make sure you hit the bell up above for future uploads, and check out the links posted in the description down below to support the channel. Thank you all, and I'll talk to you later. Good luck.